My distinguished guest from the Middle East, he's from Persia, from Iran. He is Sheikh Al-Hani Khosrow Basari. Anybody that knows wrestling knows that it's synonymous with the Iron Sheik.
All of a sudden, young punk American come to the WWF, toughest, roughest area in the world, and he beat bunch of American, and he make a name for himself. You know who I'm talking about,
I know
right?
exactly.
They know about the Iron Sheik. They know who's the Iron Sheik. They know who's the Iron Sheik.
You know who the Iron Sheik is, right? I mean, come on. I don't know much about wrestling, but I know who the Iron Sheik was. Iconic wrestler. Best known in the 80s, I would say. He passed away today at the age of 81. And I really tried to get into wrestling when I was kid. I had friends who were really, really into it. And I remember spending the night at a friend's house. We'd get up after the cartoons were over. Somewhere there'd be wrestling. There'd be people throwing each other all over the mat, slapping each other down, throwing them into the front row, you know. But I just never really got into it. But I remember the Iron Sheik. His real name was, let's see if I get this right, Hossein Khosrow Vaziri. Maybe, not even close. But he was known as the Iron Sheik. And the thing that I remember about him, and this was in the 80s, early 80s. And he would come out wearing the Iranian flag over his shoulder. And he was, he was sort of the bad guy. He was one of the bad guys because at that time, the U.S. and Iran was, high tensions. Nothing has changed. But, they were high tensions. And whenever he would come out, he was always, sort of mouthy and egging on the crowd and had the flag and everything. And people just love to be mad at that guy. And that takes a lot. I mean, yes, he was a wrestler. He was a real wrestler. Apparently, he was a Greco-Roman champion and was also a wrestling coach for the U.S. Olympics in the early 70s. But this guy was a real wrestler, but clearly he was a character. He was an actor. He was a performer. I would say more of a performer. Maybe not such a great actor. I watched some of the videos today. But he was beloved and hated at the same time. I think the big bout that he had was in 1983. He defeated somebody by the name of Bob Backlund at Madison Square Garden. And then a couple months later, he lost his championship to Hollywood Hogan, who eventually became Hulk Hogan. But like I said, I was never like a huge wrestling fan, but I certainly was aware of this guy. He'd be on TV every weekend, just blathering on and egging people on. But I know that we have some hardcore wrestling fans out there that listen to this show. So if you have a fond recollection of the Iron Sheik, maybe he came to Dayton. I don't know. I've only been to one WW some letter. I don't know which. EF WW3. I have no idea. At the Nutter Center years ago with a friend of mine. And it was very interesting. Very, very interesting. It was entertaining. I'll admit that. But if you know something about the Iron Sheik and you want to, give a bit of a eulogy, if you will, some fond memories of the Iron Sheik, you can do that, 937-457-1290. We have an update on cars crashing into buildings.
Dayton drivers keep on crashing, colliding into homes and stores. Every week, another thrashing leaves the building feeling sore.
Well, we had two last night. The first one, number 57, happened in Dayton. And an eyewitness 7 viewer sent a photo and video of the crash. The car crashed into the main entrance of the K Food Mart on East 5th Street. The initial reports was, car into a building. Happened around 9:30. No injuries. No one was taken to the hospital. But I guess police said the driver was being uncooperative. Well, they just crashed into a building. I'd be a little unsettled and razzled up a bit too. But that was number 57. And then, let's see, overnight in Xenia. Xenia police, and this, I printed this out earlier, so I don't know if there's an update on it, if they've caught the person, but number 58, somebody crashed into the Handyman Ace Hardware on Orange Street. I used to shop there when I lived in Xenia. Last night, a vehicle crashed into the Handyman building. They fled the scene. Anyone with information regarding the crash itself or information about the owner of the vehicle encouraged to call the Xenia Cops. So there you go, number 58, if you're keeping track at home. And I really do feel, I hate to say this, we're halfway through the year, almost halfway. I would say like next week is probably the middle of the year. Wouldn't you agree, Random? Next week, like the second or third week of June is probably middle of the month, right?
Yeah.
Or the middle of the year.
Yeah, we're in summer,
Yeah.
we're only 6 months away from Christmas. So
right. Okay, don't mention Christmas. Don't mention Christmas. No, we don't mention Christmas.
We need to have the decoration.
No, we don't. All right, that's enough. No Christmas talk, not at least until July. But we're at 58, so I think we could easily break 100 for the year. And we might even break 110. I hope that's not the case, but I think it's going to be a very, very hot summer. I've said this, and I think people might be a bit agitated, and they get frustrated out in the traffic, and that's what happens. People lose it and not paying attention and crash. So 937-457-1290. Herb in Dayton. What's up, Herb?
Hey, man, got a good story for you about wrestling.
Oh, let's hear it. Does it have to do with the Iron Sheik?
It does. The Sheik was at Hair Arena several times.
Oh.
He wrestled a lot of times. It was called Big Time Wrestling back then, and it was filmed at Hair Arena and somewhere in Michigan. And then they showed it every Saturday on TV, and it would promote like it was like every 2 or 3 weeks on a Monday night at Hair Arena. Then they show it on Saturday.
Yeah.
My aunt, I was only 10 years old, and my aunt had box seats and had the same 2 seats right where the wrestlers came out all the time. And my aunt and cousins would take me with them. And we were right in the front row, and they had a grudge match one night, and the Iron Sheik was doing his thing. You know, his thing was he blew the fire in their face.
Okay.
He put lighter fluid in his mouth, and then he'd go and blow fire in their face, right?
Wow.
So, but, you know, he was a pretty big guy. I mean, he was a big, bulky dude to start with.
Sure.
But so he's having this big match, and he goes on the ground and, like, starts to crawl underneath the ring, like, because the guy's trying to grab him by the legs to pull him out.
Yeah.
And you see him right where he was laying on the ground in front of it, you see him reach in his trunk and pull out something and go across his forehead. And when the guy drug him back out, he hit him right away with a chair. Now, of course, there's blood everywhere. He just crawled in there and cut his forehead.
Yeah.
So the next time I seen him, like 3 months later, he walked right by us, and like his forehead had hundreds of scars on his forehead, like where they were always cut off the head, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But like a year later, we went and we stopped at the Barn Cider after the match that night.
Oh,
and
wow.
there sat four of the wrestlers who were trying to kill each other 2 hours earlier were in there having dinner together, and it broke my heart, and that's why I quit being a wrestler.
You found out that it was all fake.
My dad preached it to me. I was like, no, Dad, I seen him bleeding. So
Yeah.
I seen him when they were having dinner together.
That's great. That's a great story, Herb. I appreciate that. That's a good one. 937-457-1290. And Jimmy, our web guy, just sent me a text, and apparently the Iron Sheik's Twitter account is legendary. Really? The guy hasn't been wrestling for how many decades? But legendary. Interesting. 937-457-1290. Coming up on the show, we've got a Idiot of the Week, and this is brilliant. It has to do with a wrong turn and GPS. And I think if you've ever used GPS, you've probably been bamboozled by GPS before, but you probably didn't end up in jail because of it. But this is a great story. We also have some tickets to give away to see Santana. We'll do a current events quiz coming up later.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the show. Paul, how you doing? Hey, Jeanette. Hey, Beth. Hey, Josh. Hey, Deb. How are you doing? Thanks for checking us out tonight on the live stream. Was anybody watching? Were you a big wrestling fan? Or are you a big wrestling fan? I worked with a guy at a place. I used to work at the Big and Tall store. I know, shocking. I used to work at the Big and Tall store by the Dayton Mall, and there was a guy there that used to be a wrestler. I don't really remember his name, but he was so into it. So into wrestling. But I remember watching some of those hey Saul, thank you. Thank you not very much. I appreciate that. Saul Amander, I love it. Thank you. I remember watching it on weekends sometimes with my friends. I mean, I would never go turn it on myself. But I just remember during those times when the United States was, and Iran was at each other's throats, and he was perfect. I mean, he was just the perfect bad guy and good stuff. And the thing that my friend always told me, or not my friend, but my former coworker who was a wrestler. Sorry, I got distracted. the wrestling, a lot of the moves and a lot of that, all of that physicality, that's of course real. You know, it's these guys are, you know, getting pounded. I mean, the acting and all the, you know, all the storylines, that's all obviously fake. It's just fun. It's just entertainment. But those guys, I mean, they get hurt. And you got to be fit. Well, you have to be fairly fit. Hey, Pamela, thanks for watching from West Alexandria. Hope you're having a great evening up there. The air isn't too thick. Josh, remind me what that is. I know that was the wrestler, right? What was it? Oh, I can't remember. Steve Austin, not the $6 million man, but the wrestler. That's right, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Does anybody watch the MMA? You gotten into that? I have some in-laws who are just crazy about the MMA, and I don't know what it is. I'm not like, I'm not into that. I don't know why. My grandpa was a boxer. I tried it. I tried boxing. I guess I'm more of a lover and not so much a fighter. All right, we're coming back. Yeah, I was talking to some lady a week or so ago who dropped something off at the station, and she said, "Well, I got to be out of there quick because I've got to take my grandson to MMA practice." I thought, what? Your kid's learning to cage fight. Is that it? That's weird. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. You know, yesterday we had some showers, and I was hoping that would clean out the sky, clean out the air. But it still reminds me, I was thinking about this earlier. Remember in the old Scooby-Doo cartoons when the gang, when they were out searching for ghosts and ghouls, and it would be really foggy? And Shaggy or Scooby would take a knife and cut a hole in the fog. The air is not that quite thick. That, you know, it's not that bad, but it's getting there. 937-457-1290. Ron in Dayton. What's up, Ron? Hello, Ron.
Well, first off, I'm in Verona, not Dayton.
Okay.
But I had a GPS story.
Okay.
Back a few years ago, I'd gotten a new car, and I had decided to take a trip to see an old shipmate of mine who lived down in Florida.
Okay.
Well, I bought a GPS. I won't say the brand name in case they're still in business, but it was one that sat on top of the desk.
Okay.
On top of the dashboard.
Right.
And I'm following the highway, but all of a sudden the highway doesn't show up on the GPS. I go a few miles, it tells me to turn around, and there's no road, and finally it shuts up. But it's got me going across fields and so forth, and there's a road there that it didn't have it on there.
Were you actually driving across the fields?
No, actually there was a highway there, but the GPS didn't know it was there.
I got you. Okay, Ron. Well, I'm glad you survived that. I guess we got time for this real quick. I'll zip through
You
it.
are a stupid idiot!
Comes from upbringing. Parents are probably idiots too.
Idiot! Imbecile pig!
Wake up, idiot!
Silly dilly dilly, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's true.
Well, Ron's GPS experience leads right into the Idiot of the Week candidate. This happened on the Canadian border. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police say 60-year-old American was following his GPS when he inadvertently ended up in line at Canada's Rainbow Bridge border crossing in Niagara Falls. The man apparently inputted the wrong GPS coordinates. Now, that happens to a lot of people. It does. It happens. However, because this guy didn't have his passport, he wasn't intending to go to Canada. He was subject to an inspection by police. Guess what the cops found? They found 400 pounds of marijuana and $600,000 in cash. Oops. All because he put in the wrong GPS coordinates. So the man was taken into custody and he's been charged with multiple drug crimes. And man, I don't know how much time in Canada 600 pounds of pot and probably $600,000 in drug money will get you, but I'm sure it's more than a year.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Josh, that's a good point. You know, it's kind of like, the new, this generation's judo, I guess. But that's crazy. I don't know how I'd feel about that. Though I do remember when I was a kid, the swimming pool or the swim club that we belonged to, they advertised that they were going to hold a self-defense class. And the guy who was teaching it was a green belt. And I don't know if it was judo or karate. I don't know. But my friends and I, we signed up for it. We were so excited because my friends and I were the ones that would get bullied all the time at school. And we thought, well, this will be great. We'll learn a little bit of self-defense. So in case we get cornered out on the jungle gyms, we can defend ourselves and fight back, have a chance. Well, we had one class, and then the guy bailed because I don't know if he thought, and this was a long time ago, I don't know if he thought that women were going to sign up for this. He was a single guy, good looking guy, good shape, karate guy. Yeah. That kind of thing. And I think he might've been doing it to try to meet women, but the only people that signed up for it were a gang of short little chubby kids who were getting beat up at school. So we only took one class and that was it. So I didn't really learn anything, which was a shame. Do. I talked about using GPS a couple of weeks ago. There was a story or something very similar to, or had to do with GPS. And I remember one time my wife and I were coming back from somewhere, like out past Germantown. If you're not from the Dayton area, that is way west. Well, not way west, but it's quite a bit to the west from downtown Dayton. If you're not familiar, but we were coming back at night, and I don't remember where we went. But my GPS stopped working, and we weren't getting satellite reception. I don't know. I don't remember if it was cloudy. Might have been raining a little bit, but we just had no flipping idea where we were going. Absolutely none. Pamela, no, I've not even met the meteorologist. Are you talking about Britley? That's got to be confusing for Larry Hanskin. Britley and Brittany. But I haven't even met her. She was in the building earlier today, and I was here. I got here not very early, but very early for me. I was here about 10 o'clock. And I had some stuff I had to do. But I just haven't met her yet. Hey, Ashley, how you doing? I got your poster. You too, Josh. It's going out in the mail. Oh, yep. There you go. I guess she came from maybe Atlanta. CNN. I think I heard CNN. I know she's just kind of freelancing right now. I don't know that she would be one who would end up staying here for a long time, but she might. Yeah, I don't think she is either. There's jobs out there or opportunities for people who are willing to freelance. There's guys out there that freelance doing talk radio. Like if you need a fill-in somewhere, you can have them come on and do it. Hats and Christmas, somebody wants to talk about. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. We have tickets to give away to see Santana. He's going to be at the Rose Music Center a couple weeks, June 27th. If you would like to take the current events quiz, give Random a call. My producer tonight, 937-457-1290. Be the fifth caller, and we will get you hooked up, and you can get on the show, and you can play and win the current events quiz. See Santana. 937-457-1290. Quick question. I'm sure that a lot of people are working from home since the pandemic. The pandemic changed so many things, right? You've got some people who are working at home exclusively now that had been in the office. You've got other people who are working in the office part of the time, and the rest of the time they're at home. And a lot of people feel like that's probably the way the future is going to be. However, some companies are dialing back a bit. And I saw this story. It's about Farmers Insurance. Some of the employees are furious because the company has changed course. The former CEO said, oh, we're going to work from home. Everybody can work from home. That's the way the company's going to be. We're going to sell our offices. We're going to get rid of our file cabinets. Everybody's going to be floating around the world and working for Farmers Insurance. You can work from wherever you want. People sold their house. They moved closer to family. They made life choices based on that. Well, that CEO, out of there. The new CEO is saying, nope, you're going to have to come back to work. And they say that if employees work less than 50 miles from their office, they're going to have to work, I guess, exclusively at the office. More than that, it's 3 in the office, 2 at home. And people are not happy about that. And I'm just curious if you think this whole work from home thing, this trend, and it is, I guess you could call it a trend, if you think it's gonna keep up, or if at some point it's just gonna go back to the way it was, where working from home, some people did it, but most people came into the office. People walked off the job at Amazon last week in Seattle because they decided to make people come back to the office. It happened at Walt Disney too. I think a lot of businesses are finding that having people working outside of the building is not necessarily the best thing. There's something about having the synergy of people in an office working and talking with each other, seeing each other, working on projects that is very beneficial. And now we're all just connected on Teams and Zoom, and who knows what they're doing on the other side of the computer? Are they actually working? Are they sitting by the pool? Very easy to get away with stuff when you're not being watched. And some people probably don't like that, but that's just the truth. Jay in Oakwood, what's up, Jay?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I called about your hat situation.
My hat situation, my Hot Hat Friday situation?
Well, I was shocked when you keep saying, there's been like a shortage. So I was thinking if I drop off some hats, I always wear military hats.
Well, no. These are hats from local businesses. They're not just random hats. If I wanted that, I could go to the Goodwill and buy a whole stack for $1. I'm looking for hats that have logos from local businesses because this is an opportunity for a local business to get some free publicity on the show. Free advertising.
Well, I mean, from what you've been saying, they're not coming in at all.
Well, I've got a stack of them, and I've gone through them. I got one a week ago from Hobart up in Troy, which I'm going to be wearing Friday night. So, I get one every week or two, but when I first started doing it, I had like 3 or 4 dropped off at the station almost in the first week or two.
Oh, all right. I was just trying to help.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it, Jay. No worries.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Yep. All right. There you go. That line's open. 937-457-1290. I do appreciate the fact that he's concerned about my hat situation. It was very nice. We got Greg in Inglewood. Greg, you there?
I am here.
You want to take the current events quiz?
I would love to.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Here we go.
Listen, everybody. It's the Evening Edge Current Events Quiz.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Can you answer the question?
I bet you think you're pretty smart, huh?
Now, here's your host, Todd Hollst.
Thank you very much, Norm Kelly, official announcer of the current events quiz. Now, Greg in Inglewood, you know how the current events quiz works?
I do. I've heard it a few times.
All right, I'm going to give you 3 questions, 3 possible answers, and the answer is always C. There you go. All right. Now, this current events quiz, these are all stories from foreign lands, Greg. Foreign lands. Are you up on your world geography?
Somewhat.
Somewhat? All right. Well, we'll see how you do. Question number 1. A government official in India has been suspended from his job after doing what? A, throwing a bachelor party with strippers at the Taj Mahal. B, giving performance-enhancing drugs to his top racing camel. Or C, ordering a water reservoir drained so he could retrieve his smartphone he dropped while taking a selfie.
Well, I'm going to go with C, but that is unbelievable.
Yeah. Imagine having that much power that you can order a reservoir drain so you can crawl down there, or I'm sure probably he sent someone else to go get his cell phone that he dropped. That is some crazy power. Drunk with power, I guess. All right, here's question number 2. An Italian fisherman fishing in the Po River, Italy's longest, was astonished when he reeled in what? A, an unopened case of So let me start again. A, an unopened case of World War II era Chef Boyardee ravioli. B, an ancient Roman token believed to be from a Roman brothel. Or C, a 9-foot, 4-inch catfish.
That's a big one. I'll go with C again.
You got it. Now, here's the thing. There was another, and this is the story, that they think that this might be the world record. Okay, this is 9-foot, 4.2-inch long catfish, and it was caught at this river in Italy. However, earlier this year, 2 other fishermen from Germany also caught a 9-foot catfish, and that became the Guinness World Record catfish for the biggest catfish. But I'm wondering if this might be the same catfish, because the second guy that caught the catfish threw it back in. I'm wondering if the German guys did the same. It could be the same fish.
Sounds like it.
You know, maybe there was just something jinky with their measurement, or maybe the fish got bigger in the last 6 months. Who knows?
Possible.
Somebody needs to investigate this. All right, here's question number 3. Police in Japan arrested 2 men this week for what they're calling, quote, sushi terrorism. After the men were caught on video doing what? A, trying to smuggle foreign sushi into the country in their socks. Socks sushi does not sound good. B, throwing pieces of sashimi at a group of tourists. Or C, eating pickled ginger with chopsticks directly from a communal container at a famous beef bowl restaurant chain.
It all sounds tempting, but I'm going to go with C, final answer.
You got it. Yeah, apparently that's a big no-no. You're not supposed to eat off chopsticks, and just take food. And communal container, I wonder if that's like a salad bar kind of thing. Like, you're not going to stand up there and eat croutons right out of the bowl. Right. I'm sure people have done it, but you're not supposed to. All right. Well, congratulations, Greg. You are the winner. Hang on the line. We'll get your info and we'll get those tickets to you to see Santana. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There you go. And that's how you play the current events quiz. 937-457-1290. So I saw this story a week ago, and I wanted to do some research before I brought it up. There was I think it was maybe Alabama or somebody. They signed a law and they named an official, the state official cookie. And I thought, well, I don't know if Ohio has an official cookie. That's one of those kinds of crazy things that we sometimes talk about on the show. So I did a little research, and it turns out that last December, the Ohio House of Representatives and the Ohio Senate passed a resolution, or maybe it's a law. I think it's more than a resolution. It's a law that the sugar cookie is to be the official cookie of the state of Ohio. Now, I looked up the bill, and it's Ohio House Bill 278. Now, here's the weird thing. You always hear about strange amendments that politicians attach to bills. Well, that's kind of what this was. This was a bill that was supposed to recognize Ohio Burn Awareness Week. I guess they're going to make this big to-do, and this is raising awareness of accidental burn injuries and fatalities in the state. Okay. So they're going to make this bill, and everybody's going to vote on it. But they added the very first part of the bill, Section 5.083, the cookie with the main ingredients of sugar, flour, butter, eggs, vanilla, commonly known as the sugar cookie, is adopted as the official cookie of the state. Now, like I said, the Ohio House and the Ohio Senate, they've both passed this, but I could not find anywhere where Governor DeWine has signed this. So there might be time to change his mind. Do you have a suggestion on what should be the official Ohio cookie? I would be okay if it was the sugar cookie. I'm not trying to disparage the sugar cookie or those who love sugar cookies. I enjoy a good sugar cookie. But I'm just curious if you have a better idea. Should there be some other cookie as the official Ohio cookie?
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Tim, that's not a bad idea. I had somebody suggest a bottle of the Belle of Dayton vodka, because that's kind of a more of a contemporary thing. It would sort of represent, all of the uptick in the distilleries and breweries, microbrews. Could put some microbrew beer in there, and a bottle of vodka from Ohio Belle, or the Belle, Ohio Belle, the Belle of Dayton. The peanut butter cookie, that's a good one. The Buckeyes. They're kind of like a cookie. I mean, they're not flat like a cookie. Right? But I think, a sugar cookie isn't a bad idea. But I'm sure that there's, I would want a cookie that is unique to the state of Ohio. I'm going to look up official state cookies. I bet there's a list somewhere. Yeah, Alabama. They just made the Yellow Hammer as the official cookie. I've never heard of a Yellow Hammer. The Yellow Hammer? Oh, Harlan, that's a good one. A COVID mask. The Yellow Hammer includes pecans and oats. What? Wait a second. Where's the recipe? Never heard of it. It says it doesn't give the recipe. Well, that's stupid. What a lousy article. Says the ingredients, including pecans and oats, encapsulate the state. Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I've been to Alabama, but I don't know much about their crops. Pecans, I would imagine, probably, maybe oats. Yellow hammer. Let's see, yellow hammer cookie recipe. Hammer. Oh, here we go. Cookie recipe. What's in a yellow hammer? Let's see. Ah, here we go. Flour, of course, baking soda, yeah, baking powder, salt, brown sugar, vanilla extract, cooking oats, pecans. And I guess you put some sort of filling on the top. And it is peanut butter, honey, sugar, and butter. Huh. What are those sandy cookies? Don't those have pecans? Oh, wait, there it is. Hang on. The Alabama Yellowhammer. I see. It's like a sandwich cookie. Okay. It's a sandwich cookie. Yeah, Steve, pecan sandies. I love those. Oh man. I love pecans. I had a moment of weakness today and ate a cookie that somebody had brought into the station. Been trying not to, but I couldn't help it. Yeah, Kim, I like those. Those are good.
Sorry's not going to keep you from burning in hell, Todd.
Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7, I saw an article that the state of Alabama just signed into law that their official state cookie is the Yellowhammer cookie. I'd never heard of the Yellowhammer cookie, but it's essentially a cookie sandwich that has pecans and oats and honey and peanut butter as the filling. And I thought, well, does Ohio have an official cookie? And it turns out that there was a law passed, or a bill that was passed in December, making the sugar cookie the official cookie of the state of Ohio. However, I couldn't find anywhere where Governor DeWine has signed the bill. So maybe he's hemming and hawing on this. Maybe he's not a sugar cookie fan and he's thinking it should be something else. So that's my question. What do you think it should be? Bill in Cridersville. What's up, Bill?
Hi, Todd. How you doing?
Good.
I think the state cookie should be pumpkin cookie with cream cheese icing.
A pumpkin cookie with cream cheese icing. Now, why? I know we have a lot of pumpkins. We are sort of a very harvest heavy state, aren't we?
Yeah, it's kind of a rural thing. I mean, Ohio is kind of a rural state. You know,
yeah.
It's got a lot of country and stuff, and we've had them. Actually, one of the grocery chains sells them. in the fall, and they're really good. It's a pumpkin spice with a really good cream cheese icing.
I got
Really
you.
good.
I got you. And I feel like I want the cookie to be something that's very unique to Dayton. It doesn't mean, or to Ohio, doesn't mean that other people can't make it and enjoy it elsewhere. But it'd be nice if it was something that was really sort of significant to Ohio. Sugar cookie, I like a good sugar cookie, but it's just a sugar cookie. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It doesn't really hold any meaning for Ohio, I don't think. But I appreciate that. Real quick, Mark in Tip City. What's up, Mark?
Hi, I was just had a comment on the remote working.
Oh, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
My wife works for one of the largest employers in Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, during COVID, they were all remote. And now that it's over, they were expecting people to come back in.
Right.
And they've had several people quit their jobs because of it. My thought on it is, when you were first hired into that job, you were hired in 40 hours a week, 5 days a week to come into the office.
Yeah. Yeah.
Extenuating circumstances caused a remote work environment.
Yeah.
They're also having an issue of people when they are working remotely, because my wife will work remotely 1 day a week, sometimes 2 days a week. But they're having some trouble with people not getting their work done, not doing their work.
Right. It's when you don't have that kind of supervision right there in your face all the time. Sometimes it's easy to get distracted and not do what you got to do. I appreciate your call, Mark. I got to run. I got the news here, but coming up. Okay, we talked about Taylor Swift the other day and her Swiftie fans wearing diapers to the show. We've got another Taylor Swift story you're going to want to hear.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
That's funny, Tim. I hope that doesn't happen. Oh, my. That would be disastrous. Though I will tell you, my wife and I have joked many times that hang tight. Anyway, yes, hopes and prayers. Please send me your hopes and prayers. Keep me in your thoughts. No, my wife and I have joked. It's like at some point I'll probably run my car into a house or our own house and do it accidentally and not really do any damage at some point. I'm sure, but she's like, "You'll have to report that." I'm like, "Well, maybe so." All right, sorry, I had to throw something together real quick. I've got some news about the cookie, the sugar cookie. Oh, skinny jeans. That's a good one, Kim.
Center 7, meteorologist Robert Gotro. A little hazy still this evening with some mainly clear skies and a chill in the air tonight as we drop to about 49 degrees, mostly clear. Thursday, highs in the upper 70s, mainly sunny, cooling down to the low 50s.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Of course, that was Taylor Swift. She's on a gigantic tour right now. And I would imagine that while many of you listening may not be Swifties yourself, you probably know some hardcore Swifties. Maybe you're a closeted Swiftie. I like Taylor Swift. I follow her on the TikTok. My wife loves Taylor Swift. Random is a big Taylor Swift fan, aren't you, Random?
Yeah, I can't think of a musician I like more, Todd.
Right. For you, it's the Beatles, Zeppelin, and then Taylor Swift. Am I right?
Naturally. Yeah. Nobody defines classic rock better than Taylor Swift.
That's right. She's got her own special sound. But the other day we were talking about these fans who are going to the show, this concert tour, and they're just obsessed. They are obsessed with Taylor Swift. And they were wearing, and there's videos of them preparing to go to the show, putting on diapers, adult diapers, and going to the show wearing the diapers. So during the long performance, which sometimes I guess is like 2.5, maybe 3 hours long, it's a long show. Taylor Swift puts on one heck of a show. They don't want to miss a second. So they're wearing these diapers for when nature calls. Right there in section B, row 8, seat 4, they can do what they got to do and not miss a beat. That sick beat of Taylor Swift. But here's something else that I saw today. Yes, they may not miss a minute of the show, but many of them, some of them, not many, some of them apparently are forgetting what they just saw. You're asking, what? What is he saying? This is a thing. This is a real condition. Some fans are claiming that they have post-concert amnesia and are having trouble remembering the show. And neurologists say that this is a real thing, and it's a condition that comes from sensory overload. So these Swifties, many of them, some of them, are going to the show, and they are so dazzled by the spectacle of it all that they are just so overwhelmed that at the end of the show, on their way home, they clearly, apparently, are forgetting big chunks of time when they were at the Taylor Swift show. And they're not remembering it. They're forgetting certain parts. I've never heard of such a thing. Now, I have been in situations where maybe you like, I'll give you an example. A wedding, my wedding to my wife. A lot of stuff going on, right? A lot of stuff going on. A lot of wheels turning. People coming up to you, talking to, you don't always remember everything at the end because there was a lot to take in. So I guess that's what it is. I guess these shows are just so mesmerizing and so high energy and over the top that these poor Swifties aren't remembering a thing. What a shame. What a shame. But I'd be curious to know, Taylor Swift hasn't come to our area yet. She's going to be down in Cincinnati here in a month or so. And I'd be curious to know if anybody has that experience. If they go to the show, or maybe your kid or your grandchild or whoever you're going with, if you go to the show. I'd like to hear from you if you are going to the show. And how excited are the kids to be going and to see Taylor Swift? It's probably off the hook. 937-457-1290. But I've just never heard of that before. I mean, I guess if you in a intense situation, you might forget certain aspects, but it's just a concert. It's just a show. 937-457-1290. I got more information on this official state of Ohio cookie. So we talked about it at the end of last hour. I found a story where the Ohio House and the Ohio Senate apparently back in December passed a bill that was going to make the sugar cookie the state cookie. And it's because a bunch of third graders in Cincinnati thought this was a great idea. They got their Congress person down there to introduce the bill. And I thought the governor just hadn't signed it. And I couldn't understand why Governor DeWine was digging his heels in on signing a cookie bill. And the cookie bill, it was really part of another bill, like a more important bill, but somebody just threw it on there. So I didn't understand why he hadn't signed it. Well, it turns out, and I found another story. This is from Fox 8 in Cleveland, that here's the headline, or here's the first paragraph. The dream of a group of third graders to designate the sugar cookie as Ohio's official state cookie has crumbled to pieces. Apparently, after a jam-packed period of 17 hours of debate, Ohio lawmakers, now think about this. These are your elected officials. Ohio lawmakers failed for the fourth time since 2019 to get enough votes to carry the state sugar cookie bill over the finish line. They can't even vote and get a state cookie. But I see this as an opening. Now, I have nothing against sugar cookies, but maybe there's another cookie that would be better. We had somebody call in and suggested a pumpkin cookie with cream cheese icing. I feel like that might be more representative of Ohio than just a sugar cookie. But I'd be open to other suggestions. I mean, we did the Cheez-It thing and we got the Cheez-It statue. Maybe we can come up with, another campaign to make some sort of cookie the state cookie. Random, what's your favorite cookie?
I think that this cookie is very underrepresented. Pumpkin spice in general is very underrepresented. So I think that
you think it's underrepresented? I mean, I understand the idea of it a cookie, but really?
Yes.
Everybody likes pumpkin. Well, not everybody, but it's such a big deal. Pumpkin spice used to be a seasonal thing. Now it's almost year round.
There should be more of it, Todd. There should be more of it.
Oh my gosh, really? Okay, well, if you've got a suggestion on the state cookie, 937-457-1290, and we'll chat about that. Here's something I saw. This was also going around on the TikTok. There was a public outburst down in, shockingly, it was in Florida. And this took place at a movie theater during a showing of the 1989 classic Little Mermaid. And two women got into an argument in the middle of the movie. Everybody's just chilling, watching the Little Mermaid do her thing. Ariel, right? And that talking crab. What's his name? Jeff? I don't know. I have no idea what it's
Sebastian,
called.
I think.
Sebastian, that's it. And all of a sudden, this broke out.
Oh, I need a refund on my ticket. No, we getting a refund because
So it goes on and on, but the question I had, and it has really nothing to do with the people losing their minds, because we see that all the time now, right? It happens. We see it on social media. It's in the news. We probably even witnessed people having public meltdowns. But the woman who was recording this starts saying, yeah, we
need
want
a refund. What's going on? This is a kids movie. Oh.
We want a refund. Now, here's a question. If you're at a movie or any event, sporting event maybe, but I'm thinking specifically a movie. If you're in a movie and something like that happens, or some other issue occurs where you are disrupted or disturbed, annoyed by another customer, would you go and ask for a refund? Has anyone ever asked, I'm sure they have, for a refund at a movie? I mean, if you go and you start watching and then, somebody's being disruptive and loud, not to the point even where they're yelling and screaming at each other, but they're just being annoying and you can't enjoy it, do you go and ask for a refund? Would you? Have you?
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Oh, Beth, I love that idea. Taylor Swift is sending secret messages to her fans through her hypnotic music. Hey, look, crazier things have happened. Oh, man. Hey, Mary Beth, how you doing? Hey, Chris. Yes, Ashley, I have a elephant rampage story that I'm going to talk about. Josh, that is so funny. Somebody just messaged me that. Those cookies, they're called peanut butter blossom or peanut blossom cookies. And they're peanut butter cookies with Hershey Kisses pressed in the middle. And I'm going to talk about those because I think that's a good idea. And I've got a reason why. Let's see here. I got to look up something real quick. Yep, Harlan, I remember those at Christmas time. Very popular. People used to bring cookies over to the house, neighbors, and they always had those. Now, Kim, why were those called Dolly Parton cookies? I'd love to know. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7, having a very intense discussion on the live stream and on the calls as to what the Ohio official cookie should be. Our elected officials can't get it done in Columbus. They've tried multiple times to make the sugar cookie the official state cookie, and it keeps falling flat. And maybe it's the choice. Maybe it's because people think there should be something other than the sugar cookie. I mean, I think it's cute. A bunch of third graders in Cincinnati want the sugar cookie, but they can't vote, so who cares? Let us decide. Vinny in East Dayton. What's up, Vinny?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, I was just thinking about the whole sugar cookie. Oh, and before that, I have gone to a movie where I have considered getting a refund. My brother made me wait forever to see the new Star Wars when it came out.
Yeah.
And I finally went, and I had to sit next to this guy and the kids. And, I expected people to be there. But the guy coughs so hard and goes, "I hope I don't get you sick."
Oh, geez. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, "Oh, my gosh, I should just leave right now."
Right, right.
But, yeah, the sugar cookie debate, I don't know. I mean, I think the people of Ohio deserve probably the best, gourmet chocolate chunk cookie out there, whatever. But, the fact of the matter is we're going to be gerrymandered.
That going to be what?
We're going to be gerrymandered into saltines. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe so, but somebody suggested this. Ruth Ann sent me a message, and she's suggesting the peanut blossom cookies. Now, these are the peanut butter cookies that have the Hershey's Kiss sort of pressed in the middle. They're very, very popular in Ohio. I remember getting those from neighbors at Christmas time. And the reason I think these might be a good idea is because of Buckeyes. The chocolate peanut butter Buckeyes, right? Chocolate peanut butter Buckeyes are like a state. It's like the official state treat, but they're not cookies. They're balls.
Right. Yeah.
So the peanut blossom cookie is basically it's the same flavors, but in cookie form. You got your chocolate, you got your peanut butter. There's the sugar in it. There it is. Not a bad idea. I appreciate your call, Vinny, 937-457-1290. And Ruth Ann, great suggestion.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Oh my gosh. I just got an article. And this is the article that Ruth Ann sent. I didn't read the whole article. I mean, I just got it, The peanut blossom was created by a Gibsonburg, Ohio resident named Frida Smith in 1957 for the Pillsbury Bake Off. That has to be the Ohio cookie. It has to be. Sugar cookie was not invented in Ohio. I know that. I don't even have to look that up. Michael, yeah, somebody mentioned that, and the only thought is that Buckeyes aren't cookies. I mean, they're great, tasty, chocolatey, peanut buttery treats, but they're not cookies. So I think it might be hard to convince people that those are cookies. But these peanut blossom cookies, the peanut butter cookies with the chocolate Hershey Kiss in the middle, they taste just like, just like Buckeyes. Now, not creamy because they're cookies, but they have the same flavor, right? Chocolate, sugar, peanut butter. So I think that's a good alternative. If you can't convince people that Buckeyes should be the official state cookie, then I think the peanut blossom is the way to go. I think that makes sense. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Michael, my mother-in-law makes no-bake cookies at Christmas time. And my wife and her family just devour them. And it's funny is like I'm not a peanut butter fan. I mean, if it's mixed with chocolate, I can certainly down it. Reese's cup, no problem. Peanut butter cookie, even without chocolate, I could no problem. But sticky, gooey peanut butter, no thank you. Something wrong with me, I think. At least that's what I've always been told. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Talking about the official cookie for the state of Ohio. I didn't know that this was a thing. I saw an article that Alabama just, I guess the governor signed a bill calling the Yellow Hammer cookie, which is a basically like a cookie with filling that has pecans and oats and honey as the official cookie. And I wondered if Ohio had an official cookie. And I saw a story where it looked like the Ohio House and the Senate came to an agreement that it was going to be the sugar cookie. But then it just kind of fell flat. And I guess now I've learned that they've tried 3 or 4 times to make the sugar cookie the state cookie. Now, I have nothing against sugar cookies. I enjoy a sugar cookie. However, I don't think the sugar cookie should be the Ohio official cookie. And here's why. I don't even have to Google it. The sugar cookie did not come from Ohio. It's not from Ohio. Somebody else invented it somewhere else. I know this. You don't even have to look it up. However, we had a great suggestion right before the news. Somebody had suggested on the live stream, well, what about Buckeyes? And I'm talking about the chocolate balls that are covered in or the peanut butter balls covered in chocolate. Well, I think that's a great idea. And maybe you could convince some people that those are a cookie, but I don't really think that they're a cookie. I mean, they're a chocolatey, peanut buttery, tasty treat, but they're not traditional cookies. And then Ruth Ann sent me a story and a recipe for these amazing peanut blossom cookies. Now, you may not know the name of them, but you've seen them before. I can guarantee you that these are peanut butter cookies that have a Hershey Kiss pressed into the middle. So what does that cookie entail? It entails peanut butter. It entails, of course, some sugar and chocolate, which is essentially a Buckeye. Right? So that kind of makes sense. A cookie that tastes like a Buckeye. Perfect. But here's the clincher. Here is the clincher as to why the peanut blossom should be the official Ohio cookie. And I may have to start a petition on this. We worked it. We did it with the Cheez-It. We got the statue. I think a petition letting people voice their support would be the way to go. The peanut blossom, and this is from quaintcooking.com. The peanut blossom was created by a Gibsonburg, Ohio resident by the name of Frida Smith. She created this for the 1957 Pillsbury Bake Off. Now, she didn't win the grand prize. However, she won in the senior category. She was the grand national winner. So I don't know how Frida was, but she won a new mixer and a top-of-the-line electric range as well as $100. So that's pretty good. But that cookie right there, the peanut blossom, was invented in Ohio. So you're telling me that the sugar cookie should be... No! It should be the peanut blossom. And maybe the fact that they couldn't get the sugar cookie bill passed 3-4 times, this is all supposed to happen. I need to throw my weight behind the peanut blossom and work our fellow representatives. I know the governor. I've met the governor. I met him one night at Young's Dairy many years ago, before he was governor. I'll call him and say, Mike, we have got to get this done. How do we do it? I mean, I grew up in Greene County. He grew up in Greene County. I think we could make it happen. So that's why the peanut blossom should be the official state cookie. 937-457-1290. We have animals attacking.
There is a wild side to every animal.
Here's something you like when animals attack magicians.
Animals took revenge.
Animals attack.
Craziest animal attack story.
You're about to find out when animals attack.
Well, I've been sitting on this story for about a week. I just haven't had time to get to it, and I finally got to it. And before I delivered it, or as I'm about to deliver it, I got online to see if there was any updates, and there is an update. So this is perfect. This is happening in an area of India near the town of Cumbumin. 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 Anyway, there is a wild elephant on the loose that's been terrorizing villages. And it's been out there for quite a while. It's destroyed dozens of homes, shops, and cars in recent months. And then a couple weekends ago, it claimed the life of a rickshaw driver. The guy was driving his rickshaw, and the elephant, who by the way, his name is Eric. They've named the elephant, this wild elephant, Eric Kumban. God, I really need to work on my pronunciation of foreign words. Don't you think? A little bit random. Or maybe I could just have you do it.
I mean, I'm willing to...
You're on the wrong mic there, buddy. That's okay.
I mean, I'm willing to try, Todd. I'm willing to
Okay.
try. Just so that you don't offend any of our elephant, audience.
Well, but anyway, people were urged to stay indoors because of this crazy elephant. The man who was killed escaped the initial attack, but then fell down trying to flee and suffered a severe head injury. So that's awful. The animal has also injured at least 3 other people, and it has since retreated into the forests. And the people there say in recent years that that particular elephant has killed a total of 11 people and destroyed around 300 houses and shops. The elephant's name, which I can't pronounce, can be translated to rice tusker. And he earned his name as he often raided local shops and kitchens for rice. Well, the update that I have is that they found him on Monday, and they have really located him deep into the woods, into the jungles of India. So hopefully this elephant will leave civilization alone, but I wouldn't count on it. Elephants, of course, have great memories, and they probably have a good sense of direction. And if they know that there's chaos to be caused in this little town, I'm sure they're going to be coming back. Linda and Xenia, what's going on, Linda?
Oh, just busy listening to you.
Well, I'm glad. It's very busy listening to me.
I love your show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll give you a little casino bell love there. Could you turn? Hey, could you turn the radio down in the background?
Sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
I was calling about the cookie. Myself, I don't like sugar cookies. It's probably the last cookie I would eat.
Right.
But I was thinking that since we have the Buckeye candy, just like that one lady was talking about, we should have a Buckeye cookie, a peanut butter cookie with either chocolate chips or maybe a Buckeye stuck in the middle. Sugar cookies are just blah. I don't think that would be a good representation of our state.
Did you hear me talking about the peanut blossom?
Yeah.
And I think that's like
that's a great idea.
That's like a really good sort of compromise between a Buckeye
right
and an actual cookie, something that is
sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
But a sugar cookie is like no.
Right, and the fact that it was invented in Ohio by a woman, Frida Smith, why that should be the Ohio cookie.
It should be. I'll vote for that.
It originated here, just like the Cheez-It should be the official cracker of the state of Ohio.
Exactly.
Right. Ritz wasn't invented here. Saltines weren't invented here.
No.
Though goldfish crackers were invented in Ohio.
Oh.
So that could be a struggle between the goldfish faction and the Cheez-It faction.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Linda, I appreciate your call. Have a good one. That line's open, 937-457-1290. We have Florida Man stories.
Florida man shines with every single crime, stupefying and delicious. Some might even think fictitious. Florida man is always ambitious.
All right. So the other day I was I was doing a current events quiz, and we had a bunch of crazy stories from Florida Man or about Florida Man in the quiz, right? And one of the stories was about a guy who tried to rob a cell phone store, and he was, as a disguise, he found a box and he put it on his head. And it was just like a regular run-of-the-mill box that you might find by the dumpster. So he threw it on his head. No, you might be wondering, he did not cut eyes out so he could see, which would make sense. So he could, if you're going to go in, especially with a weapon, and you're going to try to hold someplace up, you want to see what you're doing. Well, the guy wasn't too bright, didn't cut the holes out. And it turned into, chaos. He smashes the glass of the showcase, and he makes out. And I didn't know this at the time. This guy with the box on his head made it away with $15,000 worth of loot, 19 iPhones, along with $8,000 in cash. But the problem is, this video's been going around, the box pops off his head. And in that split second, you can see his face. So the shop owner gets the video and goes around to people in this little strip mall where his store is. And they're like, have you seen this person? And somebody says, yeah, I just saw him down at the other end of the strip mall drinking in a bar with some of his buddies. So the store owner calls the cops. They come, they look at the video, they go into the bar. There he is. So they arrest him. But what kind of idiot, A, doesn't cut holes in the box? One. And then two, after you rob the place, you don't take off and try to get as far away as possible. No, you just walk down the strip mall, pop in at the bar, belly up, have a couple with your friends. Idiotic. And then the second Florida man, I'm going to do this one real quick. I know we're short on time in this segment. There is video going around of a young man inside of a live alligator enclosure at Busch Gardens in Tampa. The man can be seen yelling incoherently at what looks like a GoPro camera in his hand, poorly imitating an Australian accent, probably feeling like the beloved Steve Irwin host, the late Steve Irwin, host of The Crocodile Hunter. But don't take my word for it.
Another wild Karen! Mikey! He's very bombarded and surrounded here, guys. Almost a Karen. You gotta get back out.
So this guy jumped the fence, and he's kind of on the shore of where the water is, where the alligators are, and he's shooting his little video, and people are yelling at him to get out.
Another wild Karen! Mikey! He's very bombarded and surrounded here, guys. Almost a Karen. You gotta get back out.
And this just after a couple weeks ago, a guy lost his arm to an alligator behind a bar. Alligators are nothing to be trifled with.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Steve, I remember that story a little bit. I remember there was, I think it was in India, or it could have been Thailand. They were having issues with monkeys attacking people too. And there was concern like the monkeys were coming into the houses and trying to kidnap babies or something. It's just crazy. Oh, this is funny. I just got a text from my wife. Excuse me. Pardon me. And she says, remind me to tell you about Joyce and the armless lady at Meijer and the homeless guy in the Meijer parking lot. So she must have had an adventure tonight. Lordy, lordy. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what she has to say. I think I know who she's talking about. A couple of weeks ago, we were out running around, and it was on a Saturday or Sunday or whatever it was. And I think I forget what we were doing, but we drove through maybe it was just McDonald's and grab a couple of burgers real quick and a drink. And we were sitting in the parking lot at Meijer just eating. And there was a guy on the other end of the parking lot who seemed to be dancing and trying on coats. Like he had several coats, and he would put the coats on and then he would dance, and they'd take it off and he'd put on another one and he was dancing. Couldn't hear any music, so I don't know if he had music in his head or if he was wearing earbuds. I couldn't tell. But we're sitting there watching this, and not 5 minutes later, a Kettering police officer pulls up and is just kind of like watching him, what's going on here? You know, and he kept dancing. But the cop didn't make him leave or anything. And I thought, well, I guess this is normal in Kettering. No idea what that was about. Strange things. For sure. Looking forward to this weekend. I've got some friends coming over on Saturday night, some former high school classmates of mine. We got together maybe, I don't think it was maybe 2 years ago. And sometimes they meet, like our little group, we'd all meet. But a lot of the time the meeting where we were meeting up to have dinner or drink or whatever would happen during the week when I was doing my show. So I couldn't do it. But I finally just said, "Oh, heck, everybody just come to my house." So we will be having company on Saturday night. Hopefully the weather will be good. I think it's supposed to be in the 80s, which is nice. I don't know if I'm going to have time to get into this next story. Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. All right, in closing, I was going to do this earlier. I guess I could save it for tomorrow, but tonight, try this, and I'll delve into it tomorrow. If you have a key fob, your car has a key fob, and you can remote unlock it or start it. Get to the point where you're sort of outside of the distance that it normally works. Okay? Usually they work anywhere from like 15 to maybe 50 feet. Hold the key fob to your head and try to open it or start your car further away. Apparently, this according to the Museum of Science in Boston, your head and everything in there will amplify the boost of the key fob. And I'm going to experiment when I go out to my car tonight. I'm curious to know if this is a real thing. There's a video. They said it works, but I don't know. We'll see. So think about that tonight. Try it. Get back to me tomorrow. Have a terrific Wednesday night. Enjoy yourself. You can find the podcast at eveningedgetodd.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow just after 5 here on the Evening Edge. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you. Have a great Wednesday night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy your evening and be safe. Love you.